all know that finding foundations that matches our unique skin tone can be very challenging, but don't worry, I got you covered. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Oluchi. I am a Nigerian. If this is your first time seeing my face, hi, you're welcome to my channel. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back to the channel. So today we're going to be talking on a crucial topic in the world of makeup, which is finding your perfect foundation shade as a person of color. Also dive into the formulation and needs of foundation. Just going to simplify it so it will be easy for you to find your shade. If this is something you're interested in, then keep on watching. First tip that I will be sharing today is how to determine your undertone. Sorry if I'm looking this way. I just have a note written down and I don't want to miss any point. That is why I am looking here. So to determine your undertone, just bear in mind that we have three. Okay, some people say four, but basically three types of undertone, which are the cool tone, the warm tone, the neutral is the olive. So we have these four undertones, and knowing your undertone helps you to select the perfect shades that suit your skin. So for someone who is warm tone, notice that you have more yellow golden-ish. As you can see on my chest looks very yellowish golden, so that is why I tend to go for warm toned foundation. If you are cool tone, you have hints of blue, you'll be reddish or pinkish, and if you're neutral, you might see a bit of both. So the red that I'm talking about is not like red like pigmentation or sunburn or something. No, that's not what I'm talking about. But then if you look at your skin well, you'll be able to differentiate things that I'm talking about. To also figure it out, you can look at your veins. So you can look at the color of your veins on your wrist here. So on my wrist here, okay, I think this one is better. So on my wrist here, you can see that my veins show up green, which gives that I am a warm toned person. If they look bluish or purple, then maybe you're a cool tone. If it's difficult to tell from looking at your veins, if it's difficult to tell the color of your veins, then you're probably neutral. So a quick thing is that if you're warm tone and then you use a cool tone foundation, your face is going to be looking ashy. If you use a warm tone foundation on someone who has a cool undertone, it's going to turn up orange on their face, like it's going to be too warm on their face. The second one is testing out a natural lighting. So most times when we go to buy a foundation, I know that we buy the foundation in the store and the store lighting can be deceiving. Yeah, it can be deceiving. So what I tend to do is that I tell them to swatch the foundation for me and I'll tell them I'll be right back. So once I go outside and I look at the foundation, I'm like, okay, this is giving this is giving this. Then I go back and tell them, okay, this is my shade. Or if it's not my shade, I'll say, okay, try this other one. I don't like testing out my foundation inside because the lights are too much. You can't really say if a foundation is going to match you if you are just a beginner. Also, bear in mind that these foundation tend to oxidize. Some of them oxidizes, and once you try out a foundation in the store and see that the foundation might be your match, you even come outside and see that it's probably your match, but then that foundation might oxidize something darker, or sometimes it oxidizes. Like for me, that I'm warm tone, I notice that some of the foundation oxidizes to cool tone. It gives me that grayish effect on my skin. So yes, I try to check out that products before I purchase, because we don't have the money to be buying things that we probably don't need, especially if they are ashy on us. If they are a little bit dark, then it's probably workable. But if it looks ashy on you, so the third point is to match your foundation to your chest or your neck. Whenever I tend to get my foundation, I try to match it on my chest here, just so that I know what range my foundation falls under. Most times you will not get a perfect shade just because your neck might be different from your face, and your face and neck might be different. Your neck and your chest might be different from your face. Your face might be different from your neck and chest. Your chest might be different from your face. Yes, those type of things. So you might not get a perfect shade, but then I've noticed that anytime I match my foundation to my chest or to my neck, is literally perfect for me. Some people also try on the jawline, but I don't try on this jawline because most times I don't see it. Like I don't, it's not obvious to match it like that. So maybe you can swatch here just to match, but then I prefer swatching it like here, just so that I see the color difference. The fourth thing, we'll be using online tools and samples. The online tools that I'm talking about. So when I started up doing makeup, there was this site called, I think it's called Shade Finder. If you have like your perfect shade, let's assume you have a perfect shade in Mary Kay. Mary Kay is like the basic foundation you can find in Nigeria. So let's say you have a perfect shade in Mary Kay and your shade is maybe 500, and then you have a high-end foundation, maybe let's say Huda Beauty. For myself, I'm using myself as reference. I have Mary Kay, I'm shade 500. I have Huda Beauty, I'm shade Cinnamon, Fenty Beauty, and shade 400. So once I impute all these shades in the shade finder, it then gives me recommendations for other shades of different foundations. So yes, so those type of online tools could help you figure out your shade. It might not exactly be the same because some brands don't represent their shade name to what the shade is. You will literally see a brand saying this is 500W. W is supposed to stand for warm to them. And when I apply it, it will be giving a 500C, a 500 cool tone because it's looking ashy on me. So yeah, just make sure you're careful about all these things. And also another tip is to try out samples. I know that then in Cyprus, in Istanbul, when you go to Sephora, they can give you sample to try out there for different foundations that you want. I don't know if they do it here in Nigeria, except you're trying out the sample in the store. I don't know if they give you samples to try out, but then try out this foundation for a day or two to see if it's really something that you enjoy and if it matches up to your skin tone before you commit to buying a full size product. The next and important thing is that number five, I think that's number five, is to consider the season. Then I used to have winter and summer foundations because during the winter there is less sun and it's always cold, so you don't get darker, you don't get sunburnt or all those type of things. So I tend to be a little bit lighter. But then during the summer, we want to be outside, we want to be tan, we want to be this, we want to be that. You then see that your foundation that you bought in the winter doesn't match up to that one that you need in the summer. So yes, also put that into consideration. So what I do most times is that if I'm going to get a foundation during summer, I keep it for the summer and then use the one for winter during winter. Or then you can just get two different foundations that you use for winter and you use for summer and then mix it to make a perfect shade. I know it could be a bit expensive because tell me why you need to be buying two foundation just to get your perfect shade. But yeah, I'm going to put a video of me swatching all my foundations. All these foundations used to be my shade, but as you can see on the screen, some of them are either too light or too dark for me. But there are times that I use these foundations. There are times within the year that I use this foundation and they work out perfectly well. So I finished giving you the tips. Now, let's talk about the formulation and their specific needs. So first of all, we have liquid foundation, we have cream foundation, we have powder foundation. In liquid foundation, we have matte or dewy. Can't have both. It's either it's going to give you a matte finish or it's giving you a dewy finish. I know people say, oh, it's giving you a dewy matte. It can't give you dewy and matte at the same time, except it's just giving you shine and matte. For the matte foundation, these are for people who have oily skin like myself, who have oily skin and produce a lot of oil and we don't need that extra shine on our face. That is why we get matte foundation. For people who use dewy foundation, your skin tends to be dry and you don't sweat a lot, so you can go for all those dewy foundations. We also have powder foundation. This powder foundation, the claim is mostly for oil and combination skin, but for myself as an oil combination skin, I don't use powder foundations because I have acne and I want something that will cover up those acne. And in as much as powder foundation is buildable, I haven't tried out any particular one that I will say worked out perfectly for me. So I can't give any recommendations if I like it. However, powder foundations can be drying for people who have dry skin. So if you have dry skin and you're using powder foundation, you might see patches on your face because powder foundation, the use of powder is to take away shine and set your face. So imagine you that have dry skin putting on powder foundation. It's literally not going to work because your skin is dry and you're drying out the oils that your skin is supposed to be producing. Then also we have cream foundation. This cream foundation are full coverage foundation because they're buildable. However, as an oily skin person, I don't use cream foundation that often because cream foundation has a lot of oil in it to keep it creamy, and then that creaminess is going to make my face too oily. So I tend to stay away from cream foundations. I might use them as contour and all that, but rubbing the whole thing on my face, no. For people who have dry skin because of the creamy texture and dehydration, but for oily skin, it's a big no for me. Lastly, we have stick foundations. Stick foundations are convenient. They are in like a pack, like a tube. They don't consume a lot of space. They are not messy. You just draw the lines on your face and blend it out. Yeah, they're usually medium to full coverage. Work well for normal skin. So yes, just to give you a recap, I gave you different tips on how to select your foundation. I also mentioned different foundation formulation and the needs. So yes, if you want me to talk about the skin type, I will definitely talk about the skin type in another video. I just want to make this video really short and cute. So if you found this video helpful, please make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you share to your friends who are also probably having difficulties finding their perfect foundation shade. Also share other tips that I probably did not mention, but it's necessary as someone who is trying to figure out their shade. You can drop your comments in the description, in the comment section. And if you have any other questions, you can also drop it there. I will do well to answer your questions. So yes, that is the end of this video. Thank you guys for watching. Bye guys.